In this video, everything you need to know about the cedula in Paraguay. We're going to do a deep dive into Paraguay's immigration and identification system and talk about the cédula de identidad. So if you're planning to live, work, or even just understand the ins and outs of Paraguayan bureaucracy, this video is essential for you. If you want to get residency in Paraguay, understanding what a cédula is essential for you. So let's break it down. The cédula, and that's spelled C-E-D-U-L-A, the cédula is Paraguay's national identity card. It's not just a piece of plastic. It's an incredibly important document for both citizens and foreigners who have been granted residence permits. Here's why it's so crucial. One is identity verification. The cédula is your primary proof of identity within Paraguay. And then number two is legal and economic access. It's pretty much necessary for banking, employment, and numerous legal transactions within the country. So before we dive into how to get one, let's clarify a common confusion. So there's a cédula and there's a residency card in Paraguay. There's two different cards. So one is the cédula, and this serves as your identity card, which is the key to your economic and social life in Paraguay. And it's going to have a cédula number, an ID number. And then something else is your residency card, which is also known as the carnet de admisión de extranjero. This is like your residency card, which proves you're legally allowed to stay in Paraguay. These documents serve different purposes. The residency card confirms your permission to live there, while the cédula enables you to participate in economic activities and personal recognition. Now let's talk about how to obtain the cédula. So to get your Paraguayan Cédula, here's what you need to do. You're going to need to prepare your documents. You'll have to already be a resident of Paraguay. So I guess that's number one, is you need to be a resident of Paraguay, a legal resident, in order to get a cédula. Then you'll prepare your documents, your residency certificate that proves your temporary or permanent resident status. You'll bring your carnet de admisión de extranjero, a notarized copy of that, passport, birth certificate, criminal record check, certificado de vida y residencia, which is a Paraguay thing that you get from the national police, criminal record checks from Interpol and the Paraguayan police as well, and then so just a whole bunch of different documents. Some stuff you'll be obtaining abroad, such as your birth certificate, your passport, your criminal record check apostilled. And then some things we get for you in Paraguay, or they get done in Paraguay. By the way, if you want help getting residency in Paraguay, there is a link in the description. We've helped dozens and dozens of people get residency in Paraguay. So moving on. The application process. After your documents have been verified, you'll have your photo taken and you'll digitally sign for your cédula. And I wanted to make a note of something here, something that hasn't really been discussed much on YouTube probably, is that there is two different formats of the cédula in Paraguay. There is the old format and the new format. The old format, which has been around for 10 plus years, it was less secure. It was lacking modern security features, but it wasn't tracked. So kind of pros and cons. And then the new format, the new cédula, includes a microchip for enhanced security. Okay, and that integrates biometric data. So the new cédula has a chip. The old cédula does not have a chip. Right now, Paraguay is sort of in a transition period where they've introduced the new format. It's been around since at least the first half of 2024, the new format with the chip. But they were also still issuing old format cédulas in some cases. And we even had some clients who specifically said, hey, can I get an old format cédula? because they didn't want the chip, and they were, protective of their security and all that. And that was possible for a period of time. It might still be possible depending on when you apply. So now let's talk about the time frame for receiving your cedula. Well, with professional help, the process could potentially take 7 to 14 days. Or if you were to do it independently without help, it might take several months, up to 6 months, 1 to 2 to 6 months. It really depends. And things can also potentially be different for the investment visa holders. So since early 2024, if you've obtained permanent residence via investment, which is a separate program, under that program, you can potentially get your cedula even faster, and you kind of get put in a different track. Okay. There have been many changes to the cedula process in the past year or two. So if you hear conflicting information out there, it's not that people are wrong. It's just that they might have been correct at a point in time. And just the whole office over there, they've been making a lot of changes, getting a bit more strict. So the cedula process is something that when you are a resident or when you're looking to get residency, you can ask for the latest updates in terms of timeline and, number of trips needed, this kind of thing at that point in time. Now let's talk about renewal and loss of cedula. For renewals, you'll need to bring your expiring cedula along with your resident card to renew it. And then in case of loss, if you lose your cedula, what you need to do is file a police report. And once you have the report, you would present it at the Identificaciones department to get a replacement. Okay? So if you lose it, file a police report so there's a record of the loss. Renewals are very straightforward as well. Now let's talk about some of the uses of the Paraguayan Cédula. The cedula is your gateway to financial services in Paraguay. It's essential for opening bank accounts and securing loans. It's your gateway to tax and business. You need you need a cedula first in order to get a RUC for tax purposes, and then you'll need a RUC for other things, right? So anything that you find that you might need a RUC for, which is sort of your tax ID number, RUC, whatever you need a RUC for, well, you're going to need a cedula for, because you need the cedula first in order to get the RUC. And then in daily life, everything from utilities in your name to obtaining a Paraguayan driver's license, a lot of these things require cedulas. So if you want a Paraguayan driver's license, we highly recommend you have a cedula first. You almost need a cedula first, except in very exceptional circumstances. Getting a phone number in Paraguay as well. All these things, they're going to ask you for the cedula. And then during the residency change process, it's necessary when converting from temporary to permanent resident. So if you are on temp and you would like to convert to permanent after 2 years of temp, which we highly recommend, permanent is definitely something you want to work towards. In order to work towards that, you're going to need to have the cedula. One important clarification: while Paraguayan citizens can use their cedula for travel within Mercosur, foreigners still need their passport for border crossings. The cedula does not extend visas or allow for extended stays in other Mercosur countries for non-Mercosur citizens. That topic probably requires a video in and of itself, but an important clarification because it's something that a lot of people get wrong. So there you have it, a comprehensive guide to Paraguayan cedulas. Whether you're moving to Paraguay, getting residency in Paraguay, or just curious about its systems, this document is crucial. This video preparation is key, and professional guidance can make the process a lot smoother, by the way. This isn't something you want to do yourself. You really want to engage somebody. So there is a link in the description to become our client if you would like to get your Paraguay residency, or if you already have your residency and maybe you need your cedula, maybe you need your RUC. Any Paraguay related services, hit us up. And if this video was helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content on living and navigating life in South America.